Calling all leaders. Whether you're new to management or a seasoned pro, there's one thing we all strive for: building a team culture that truly thrives. Cultivating a rainforest team culture is your opportunity to master leadership with a fresh perspective. Based on Jason Kay's best-selling book, this immersive training offers you actionable strategies to inspire, engage, and empower your team. Leave with a notebook full of insights and plan to transform your office into a thriving, resilient rainforest. This is your moment. Register now at www.jasonkay.com. That's www.jasonkae.com.
Welcome to The Maintenance Mindset, an audio-video podcast brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Paul Rhodes, and over the more than 3 decades in the apartment industry, I've had roles that include being on-site, providing services as a vendor, creating and delivering multiple education programs, and active association work. This podcast is centered on the often overlooked role that our on-site maintenance workers play. You know, the men and women that respond in the middle of the night to the toilet call, or the after hours, "it's really, really hot in my apartment" request, or my favorite, "my ring fell down the drain, get over here now." In other words, the often unsung heroes who are responsible for asset preservation and resident satisfaction. Working in multifamily maintenance provides interesting, sometimes amusing, and often fascinating stories and viewpoints. My encouragement to you is this: whatever you do it with a maintenance mindset. Thank you for joining me today on this very important topic that I don't believe gets talked about enough. That is, what happens late at night on call. And this is a topic to begin discussion before it actually happens. So on-site leaders or maintenance technicians who are susceptible to getting called out in the middle of the night, please take a moment right now, during the day, before it happens, and come up with a plan. Now, why am I saying that you need to have a plan? I'll give you an answer. In the middle of the night, you're in no shape to create a plan. Think about it. Your phone just went off. That annoying sound has occurred, waking you from what I hope is a slumber that you could write about. I mean, Guinness needs to call you about how amazing and wonderful your night's sleep is. And then it happens. The phone goes off, and it's either your service or your portal or whatever particular organizational technology your property is using, but it wakes you up from that ever so much needed slumber. Well, at that moment is not the time to come up with a plan. The plan? Do everything possible to try and stay home. I mean, okay, if it's an emergency, we go. That's the way it is. That's the job we signed up for. We have to do it. But if we can get out of it, we're going to try. And yet, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up. I need to talk to a resident and then figure out what tools I need to take and get out the door and convey myself safely to the property. That's actually not the plan I'm referring to. The plan I'm referring to is something that I started whenever I was on site, and I still have this in my thought process today. See, when I was on site, I didn't have the luxury of living at the property. I mean, those of you maintenance technicians who do live at your property, there is something to be said for being able to take a step outside your door and you're at work. There's something to be said for that commute. I mean, similarly now, my office and my little recording studio here is downstairs in my apartment. A traffic jam for me is what happens when one of my dogs stops halfway down the steps. It's a traffic jam. But I never lived at the property that I worked. And the reason why that's important is because whenever a call came in the middle of the night, I had to get up, get dressed, get ready, and drive to the property. Well, I realized fairly quickly that when the call comes in the middle of the night, there is a time of, I like to refer to it as diminishing returns. And by that, I mean, if a call came in for me after 2 o'clock in the morning, unless it was immediate life or building threatening, then if I have to go, I'm taking a shower, I'm going to put on my uniform, I'm going to do what it is that I need to do because I'm not coming back home. In my mind, after 2 o'clock in the morning, even if I go out just to light a pilot light or do a very, very quick plunge a toilet operation, by the time I get back home, get ready, get back into bed, relax enough to go back to sleep, my alarm's about to go off. Therefore, for me, the time of diminishing return was 2 o'clock in the morning. If a call ever came in at 2 o'clock in the morning or after 2 o'clock in the morning, I was getting up, take a shower, I would get ready and head to work for the day. I'd even let the resident know that was what was going to happen and give them an estimate for my arrival. That way, they knew when they could expect me to be knocking on the door. It did have that benefit that I ended up being in uniform for the after-hours call, which, honestly, if, as a maintenance technician, you have enough uniform shirts to do that, keep one in your car when you're on call. The reason I bring this up is to create that plan. That way everybody has an expectation. Because on those nights when I had to be at the property after I would do the work, instead of coming back home, now I would clock out, but I went to sleep on a couch, or I'd go sleep in the shop, or sleep in a model or somewhere that I could finish sleeping and get up in time to be ready for the day. Now, I will leave it up to you to work out the drive time and overtime and all the clocking in and clocking out issues, because that'll vary by state municipality. But the one thing I would recommend and suggest, if you do come up with this as your plan, is do yourself a favor and get some good coffee at the property. Oh, look, I just happen to have a bag of the Multifamily Media Network's coffee blend that says it is grounds for connection. Maybe it's grounds for service connection. So those of us who are on call, first of all, have coffee. On-site leaders, get good coffee for your maintenance technicians. Okay, I will even grant you that sometimes our maintenance team members don't always drink coffee. It's an act of goodwill then to have whatever caffeinated beverage or pick-me-up that your team would like to have to help them be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed first thing in the morning. In the meantime, during the day, have a plan of expectation for whatever the time of diminishing returns is for your maintenance team. If they happen to live on the same property that they are pulling call for, maybe that time of diminishing returns is 5 or 6 a.m. But whatever it is, have it spelled out. That way everybody can have the same expectation. Oh, and don't forget the coffee. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you somewhere.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Maintenance Mindset. I hope you take away ideas that apply to your current and future career goals. Please check out Maintenance Mindset Minute to hear short-form, high-impact, applicable, maintenance-centered information. Whatever you do today, do it with a maintenance mindset. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Visit multifamilymedianetwork.com to learn more about our other industry podcasts, thought pieces, and sponsorship opportunities. I'll see you somewhere.